As well. The schools in
they're
New York
not
City
confused.
tomorrow.
You're confused.
No, I think
Read
parents
the
are very
law.
confused as well.
Read the law, and you won't be confused.
I was listening to that reporter and I was thinking, man, it's good to hear a real reporter, someone who's asking legit questions and is not just groveling at their feet like all the nitwits in Boston. God. And then, of course, Cuomo is accusing him of blasphemy or lèse-majesté, whatever. I guess it's more lazy. He's not God, although I guess he thinks he is God. Maybe it is blasphemy, but it's definitely lèse-majesté. That not giving the due respect to the monarch. God, and you know damn well that everybody's confused. And he's he's as bad as Charlie Parker.
Do these zones remind you of?
Eden Pure will continue their buy one, get one free promotion for the Thunderstorm air purification system all week long. Eden Pure is able to do this due to the huge success from the Howie Carr Show listeners. The response has been tremendous, and Eden Pure is passing on those savings to the listeners. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand and plug into the wall. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm works like a real thunderstorm. It quietly sends out super oxygen and ions to kill odors in your room. Over the weekend, I saw my daughter Carolyn, and she asked if she could have one for her basement in her new home. She asked if it really works, and I said, of course it does. You won't believe it. If you bought one for your home and enjoy the big difference in smell, take advantage of the BOGO offer now and buy one for a family member like I'm going to do for Carolyn. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieBOGO. That's EdenPure.com. And with code word HowieBOGO, shipping is free.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
You are known as a cheap bastard. Which one of your daughters is the cheapest and why?
Charlotte is, and I say that because she's...
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
We took Sidney Powell seriously. We had no intention of fighting with her. We've always respected her work. But she never sent us any evidence, despite a lot of requests, polite requests, not a page. When we kept pressing, she got angry and told us to stop contacting her.
No, I didn't get angry with the request to provide evidence. In fact, I sent an affidavit to Tucker, but he was very insulting, demanding, and rude, and I told him not to contact me again in those terms.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
EUA, the emergency use authorization, we will be able to distribute this all across the country.
When are you going to admit you lost?
Yes, Kevin? Yeah.
When will you admit you lost the election?
Kaylee, at what point does the president concede the race and allow for a proper transition to the Biden?
Thank you, everyone, for the very good and substantive questions today.
Do you understand that you lost?
I don't call an activist.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
I think I had an idea with the world so divided and everybody, telling him he's got to give up and time to leave and time to transition and all the rest of it. Why not name the vaccine the Trump? No, it'd be a nice gesture to him. Have you got your Trump yet? Oh, yeah, I got my Trump. I'm fine.
I am totally and completely insane. How do I stay so crazy? Crazy pills.
Unchained and unstoppable.
It's your family. It's your home. It's your table. These are all environments where you feel safe. Your safe zone is not a safe zone. Your safe zone is dangerous this year.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
That's always good to hear Andrew Cuomo coming across like the wizard, not of Oz, but in some kind of horror movie from the 1970s. Good Lord. We've got on, we're going to have on later on today a city councilman from Staten Island, New York, who is defying Mr. Safe Zone, Governor Safe Zone, and says he's inviting all of his family over to his place for a big turkey dinner, including some relatives from Jersey. They're coming in from out of state. They're going to be carrying foreign cootie viruses. I'm looking forward to that, and we'll have Sidney Powell on in about an hour from now. But have you noticed that they keep coming up as they try to promote the fear mongering over COVID? They keep finding new people who have tested positive, and their pictures appear on the websites or in the newspapers as if they're at death's doorstep. You know, that they're going to be executed in Terre Haute at 11 o'clock. Or they have a terminal cancer and they've gotten last rites from their local priest. They did with Governor now Senator Rick Scott. Scott tests positive, and then you're pretty much inoculated if you follow the story. But it's not for people like us; it's for the low info voters, the people who believe Charlie Parker, who believe Janet Mills, who believe Gina Raimondo, Gavin Newsom. And you read into the story, he's has very mild symptoms, which is more than most people have who test positive. So then you just go to the next page. Rudy's son, Andrew Giuliani, he works for Trump and he tests positive. Oh my God. He's what? How old is he? He's about 30, 35 years old. I don't think he's going to die. All right. But it's a scare headline. They're just trying to scare the bleep out of everybody. 844-500-4242. So today they were supposed to have a hearing in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the state capital. They were supposed to have a hearing with Dominion Voting Systems. Was going to send in some people to talk to a legislative committee, and the Republicans, as you know, control the state legislature in Pennsylvania. And they abruptly what? Didn't hear that. Dominion Voting Systems Thursday night abruptly backed out of attending a fact-finding hearing that was set for this morning with the Pennsylvania House State Government Committee. At a press conference this morning, State Government Committee Chairman Seth Grove, Republican York, said 1.3 million Pennsylvanians who would use Dominion's voting machines have been, quote, hung out to dry and slapped in their faces. So they wanted to they wanted to talk to Dominion about to help identify and correct any irregularities in the election process. And so the chairman of the committee said, unfortunately, last evening, Dominion Voting Systems lawyered up and backed out of their commitment to the people of Pennsylvania to provide their input in a public format. Why would a vendor of public goods fear discussing their products sold to the public for the public good? That's what's known as a rhetorical question, obviously. If Dominion's products were successful and operated as they were supposed to, why wouldn't Dominion take the opportunity to publicly review its success? That's another rhetorical question. How hard is it to say our ballot machines worked exactly as promised and they're 100% accurate? Question mark. Well, I think it's if we believe the allegations of the Trump team, their ballot machines did work exactly as promised. That doesn't mean they were 100% accurate. Far from it. But they did work as promised. After weeks of accusations, he continued, why has Dominion Voting Systems not released any analysis of the success of its voting machines to the public in order to stop their accusers in their tracks? If they have nothing to hide, why are they hiding from us? Why are they hiding from us? Another state rep said since 14 counties use the Dominion Voting Systems, they owe it to Pennsylvania voters to show up and answer some questions. We trust the workers in our polling places and in our counties, but what we don't trust is the role of third-party companies. And when they rescind their participation in our hearings, we're left wondering why. 508 says shades of Solyndra. They also took the fifth. That was the that was the solar panel company. Remember that? How many hundreds of millions, or was it billions of dollars did they end up wasting, federal taxpayer dollars, But all their executives were bundlers for the Obama campaign, so everything was fine. It was totally okay. All right, 8. Someone just sent me a link to the New York Post story. I haven't seen that. They must have just posted this one. Company makes window stickers of Cuomo watching over your Thanksgiving. Would it be more appropriate to have a sticker of him like as a vampire, as a bat? Just like a Bela Lugosi with a cape over him and coming, lurking around your windows. Like
he's apparently getting an Emmy for his press conferences on TV, or at least an award from the Emmy Foundation.
An award for yelling at reporters and telling COVID victims that it was their own damn fault they were dying. What would happen if a Republican had said that? We talked about that yesterday. That was one of the most amazing sound cuts of the month, and there've been a lot of crazy ones, obviously. But I mean, saying that it's on you if you die from COVID, and they say Trump. What did Trump say? It is what it is. They asked him about the deaths? I mean, that's a cliche. I hate that when Belichick says it. I hate it when anybody says it. But still, I mean, it means I can't answer that. Right? I mean, when you say it's on you if you die, I mean, that's a lot worse than saying it is what it is, in my opinion. 508 says Dominion voting machines, fake but accurate. That's what the Democrats are saying. I can't believe the way they're going. When are the Republicans going to give it up? When are the Republicans going to concede the election? And they're just coming up with conspiracy theories. There's a lot more to these conspiracy theories in 2 weeks than there was to 4+ years of Russian hoaxes. And to have the likes of Adam Schiff and the New York Times that patted themselves on the back while peddling pure BS for 4+ years is just a little too much to take. It's beyond. It doesn't pass the smell test. It's beyond laughable, and it doesn't pass the smell test. 844-500-4242-978. Dominion is like the monorail salesman from The Simpsons. What do they say that there were 243 of them? Dominion people had profiles on LinkedIn, and now over 140 of the 240 profiles have now vanished, and offices, including in places like Florida here, have suddenly been shut down. Or that's a Smartmatic office, I guess. That's the other system. Anyway, there's a lot going on here as the post-election chaos continues. The vote recounts, the court challenges, et cetera, the charges and the counter charges. We have a lot to get to today. We'll open up the lines. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
The paper boy with a big microphone. Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Realtor J.T. Kelly. He helped my daughter Carolyn, and he can help you too. He specializes in residential and investment sales. Contact him at 1-800-364-9200. Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. I'm going to get you. I want you to give me something here
for your
from.
Call
I'm going to send it to you right now.
800-912-2300. That's 800.
Me or McKay?
No, McKay.
Okay.
Sure, you have a great product, but did you know thousands of times a day advertisers try to get in your head and you really don't remember the product or the service? The Draw Shop knows your message needs to be watched and understood to convert viewers into buyers. The Draw Shop produces powerful, animated, and affordable videos. Single-person businesses working out of a converted garage to Fortune 500 companies have used the Draw Shop to make videos that are impossible to be misunderstood. Whiteboard animated videos turn viewers into buyers and believers using proven neuroscience, psychology, and highly refined marketing knowledge. Viewers take action. And with a compelling animated video from the Draw Shop, conversions are 3 to 5 times the national average. The Draw Shop. Call 844-619-3729 or visit thedrawshop.com. That's thedrawshop.com.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Can you remember any time in your life when you were starstruck?
One time I saw Peter Vesey, the NBA columnist for the New York Post. He was in the Herald sports department. I really liked his column, so I went up and introduced myself to him. Then one time there was Cousin Brucey from WABC, and I used to listen to him driving back and forth between Chapel Hill and Deerfield when I was in college. Everybody on the East Coast listened to him. I couldn't believe that I was in the presence of Cousin Brucey.
Do you ever play bridge anymore?
No, I haven't played bridge in a very long time. Nobody I know plays bridge. I think my bridge days are
Taylor.
behind me.
Do you think you'd still be good at it?
I'm not a...
Yes.
I just sent you a PB fax. Florida man on LSD tackles Disney security guard.
The most magical place.
He didn't come here to be made sport of.
Funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Howie Carr is here to stay.
Cinnamon Girl. I know these songs, most of them anyway. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Gen 40 heater. I'm patting it right now on social media if you can see it. Save money on your heating bills with this stylish heater that can fit on your side table or desk. It fits on my desk here in Florida. Go to EdenPure.com and put code word Howie Carr, all one word, to save $50. Howie Carr, code word, one word, to save $50. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
What will you be doing for your Thanksgiving dinner? Cooking, ordering takeout, or going out to eat?
I'm going out to eat.
How fancy. 81%.
I always do.
82% say they'll be cooking.
Okay, and what's how many are going out to eat?
10% going out and 8% are ordering takeout.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm not going to have turkey either. Since I started going out to eat, you know what? If you give me a choice between filet mignon and turkey, I don't care if it's Thanksgiving. I'm taking filet mignon 365 days out of the year.
Well, that's like the worst time to get corned beef and cabbage is on St. Patrick's Day because they're all preparing it en masse and it's not the best quality.
So are you saying turkey is good on other days?
It's probably better on other days because it's not in such high demand.
But I wouldn't say
they take more time to prepare it.
I would never say turkey is like the primo. That's who orders when they're about to be executed, like that horrible person was that was executed today by the feds. who killed the 16-year-old girl, the drug dealer. Who do you think he ordered turkey for his final meal? I don't think so. I remember when Texas used to put out the list of the last meals of all the execution people. A lot of them, Taylor, ordered Dr. Pepper as their drink, your favorite soft drink. But I don't recall a single person on that Texas list of death row inmates on their way to the maker ordering turkey. I don't know, not at all. But it is a holiday tradition, I guess. 844-500-4242. Jack, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jack.
Howie, how you doing?
Good.
Jack up in Maine here. Work on the internet, and I got to tell you, did you hear Zuckerberg being crucified the other day? They were talking about Centra. Well, anyways, I posted a meme of Hillary Clinton being led to the gallows and say, would you do this to this grandmother? Anyways, of course, yes. I was banned on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube within an hour. They are taking away the ability to buy and sell on Facebook Messenger and whatnot. I mean, this is biblical. Not only that, I work in the internet industry, and I'm on the news wires all night long. I'm an insomniac. They've stopped. I'm getting no news feeds on any conservative sites. You have to go look for them.
I heard it's getting harder to find L. Lynn Wood's tweets, that have been cheering a lot of us up since the election. The lawyer from Georgia, we've had him on the show a couple of times. I mean, I hear he's getting a lot tougher to get. That you have to go searching for him. You can't find him. I don't know what the answer is. If Trump can somehow get back in, I think there will be a day of reckoning for these people. And I'm usually not in favor of going after corporations. And usually when you try to get government involved in a private enterprise, it just makes it worse and more expensive and less efficient. But in this case, I mean, they just have so much power. I mean, they have, these big tech has so much power compared to the corrupt mainstream media. It's just there's no comparison anymore. It's pretty scary. I agree. Sarah, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, Howie. How are you?
Good.
Calling from the fabulous People's Republic of Massachusetts. I just wanted to say I have a great idea for you for a T-shirt, and I'm hoping that you like it. Since this year is really horrible with COVID, and the election has just torn everybody apart, I think you should do a T-shirt that says 2020, forget hell never.
Oh, I don't know. I think most people, I think, Sarah, the thing is most people do want to forget it. Do you remember there was a Red Sox pitcher once named Bob Stanley? This was a long time ago, and he was kind of a goofball. And he got he had a terrible year one year. He was the guy who said, they asked him, what are you going to do? He signed a big contract. He said, I'm going to put it in one of them secret Swedish bank accounts. So that's the kind of guy he was. He meant Swiss, obviously. So so he was leaving, I guess, and he was talking to the reporters, and he said, I can't wait for New Year's Eve. I just want to get drunk and forget this whole damn year. And I think that's the way most people feel about it, Sarah. I don't know that T-shirt would work. Might work for a small number of people, but I don't think it would be a big mass seller. Thanks for the call. Gab, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Gab.
Hey, Howie. Hey,
Hi.
I was thinking about this, and I started to cry because it's not fair. Joe Biden's got his own nickname, Sleepy Joe. Well, why doesn't Kamala Harris have a nickname? And I thought, aha.
Well, she does have nicknames, Gab, but we're not going to share them here on the show, are we? Because this is a family-oriented show. You know what our nicknames are, don't you, Gab?
Tommy Harris.
No, by the way, today is Joe Biden's birthday. He turned 78 years young. 78 years young. He'll be if he gets in, he will be the oldest president ever. I think on his first day, he will be the oldest president ever in the United States history. Remember they used to talk about Reagan? Reagan's so far over the hill. He was like 75. And this Joe Biden, you heard him yesterday. I mean, it was just crazy. I I couldn't even bring myself to transcribe the quotes. Maybe I'll do it tonight. Although I probably stay up tossing and turning thinking about this guy as president if I transcribe them tonight after dinner. I'm Howie Carr. Maria's finest Italian restaurant in Portland, Maine is worth the trip for their amazing meatballs alone. I'm talking about the best meatballs I've ever had. Outstanding. Maria's is owned and chef-operated with many specialties, including homemade pasta and sauce. Known for their eggplant parmesan and seasonal favorites like their pumpkin ricotta gnocchi, you won't leave hungry. Portland's Maria's is rated number 20 in the country among the best Italian-American restaurants. Check out their extensive menu at mariasrestaurant.com. Visit today and be part of the family. Do you have no water, poor water quality, or low pressure? This is Howie Carr. Call the water experts serving Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Skillings & Sons. They're ready with 24-hour service and a fleet of trucks stocked with parts to make sure you're not without water. With over 50 years of experience, they take pride in having a family of employees that are the best in the business. For all things water, Skillings & Sons is there for you. skillingsandsons.com.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
When I raise money, excuse me, I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
Right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? You think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
You've been hearing me talk about super beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why super beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of super beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind super beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But super beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of super beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out super beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who do you consider the biggest rhino in the Republican Party?
Probably is Paul Ryan. I wish a Republican were still the speaker, but Paul Ryan was scarcely a Republican. And there was a reason he was Mitt Romney's running mate, because we had a rhino ticket in 2012.
Where did the expression, "How many more, Mr. Speaker? How many more?" come from?
That comes from the State House. There used to be a state rep who sometimes would talk about atrocities that were happening in crime. And he would get up there and he would say, "How many more, Mr. Speaker? How many more?" And I just picked it up and it became a trademark.
Where's your favorite place to go out to eat in Palm Beach?
My favorite place to go in Palm Beach is probably the Honor Bar, which used to be O-Bar, and you can get a really great hamburger there, and they have a great coffee machine that brews each cup of coffee individually.
You might hear a lot about Bernie, Biden, and Elizabeth Warren, but what about the lightweights who are running for president? Here's a best of the B team.
I've listened to some of my colleagues, Mr. Glover, tell you how much they like your movies. And I have to say, we didn't come here to talk about your movies. We came here to talk about your activism. I like your activism. I also like your movies, but I want to give you a chance because I haven't heard the other side other than tell you that they like they like your movies.
I think the NRA is the worst organization in this country for doing exactly that. They care more about the profits than the American people.
I learned a long time ago about polling. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. I mean, right now, I got nowhere to go but up.
Millions living in the shadows, working some of the toughest jobs, kept in modern day bondage.
People commit crime. Crime happens.
I have won every single congressional district in my state, including Michelle Bachmann's. Okay? That's when you guys are supposed to cheer.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
New York company makes window stickers of Cuomo watching over your Thanksgiving. The Buffalo-based design firm Custom 716, this is the New York Post writing this, is selling stickers of the governor's face that can be put on a window to make it look like Cuomo is peering inside, presumably to make sure not too many people are there to celebrate the holiday this year. $10. It's a bargain. Cuomo has been begging New Yorkers to spend Thanksgiving alone, warning that the coronavirus's rapid spread. Again, more people are testing positive. That's the rapid spread. Has increased in part thanks to small indoor gatherings in recent months as the weather has turned chillier. It's funny how that happens. People go inside when the weather gets cold, right? 844-500-4242. I'm just looking at the internet. Here's a headline on Free Republic. Some California sheriffs are telling Governor Newsom to shove it on his new lockdown orders. That's good. Glad to hear that. They're joining their colleagues in the Empire State of New York. Here's a letter from Elizabeth Warren, Senator Ron Wyden from another moonbat from Oregon, and Amy Klobuchar, a moonbat from Minnesota, and Congressman Mark Pocan. I don't know who he is. I'm sure he's a moonbat with the fake Indian and Ron Wyden and Amy Klobuchar. They sent a letter last December, 11 months ago, just 11 months ago, to Dominion Voting Systems. They said they warned about reports of Dominion switching votes, undisclosed vulnerabilities, and here's my favorite, improbable results that threaten the integrity of our elections. Of course, now they just want to move on. These are all debunked conspiracy theories that they were promoting 11 months ago. In 2018 alone, the fake Indian et al. Wrote, voters in South Carolina were reporting machines that switched their votes after they'd inputted them. Scanners were rejecting paper ballots in Missouri. Busted machines were causing long lines in Indiana. This is the letter. In addition, researchers recently uncovered previously undisclosed vulnerabilities in nearly 36 back-end election systems in 10 states. I don't know whatever that means, back-end. And just this year, after the Democrat candidate's electronic tally showed he received just 164 votes out of 55,000 cast in a Pennsylvania state judicial election this year, meaning 2019, the county's Republican chairwoman said nothing went right on election day. Everything went wrong. That's a problem. The fake Indians letter concluded, these problems threaten the integrity of our elections and demonstrate the importance of election systems that are strong, durable, and not vulnerable to attack. Now, this is the company Dominion. This letter went to Dominion, which today blew off a hearing in front of the committee of the Pennsylvania legislature. Dana Perino said yesterday on Fox News, gee, after what Giuliani and Sidney Powell said about Dominion, maybe they should sue them. Does it sound like Dominion's ready to sue anybody for defamation or libel or slander? I don't think so. 844-500-4242. Gina, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Gina.
Hey, Howie. I'm here from Beverly Hills, California. I'm a salon owner. Pretty much Gavin Newsom shut us down. We have a freedom rally every Saturday. So I believe that Beverly Hills, California clearly went red. There's thousands of us in the streets on Saturday. People can't even drive by, and when they do drive by, they salute us.
Yeah. You
But
had big rallies before the election all over the affluent neighborhoods in LA, right?
Oh, yes, we did. My girlfriend started it with about 10 people at the Hamburger Habit over on Beverly. And then we now it's up to like, I'd say 4,000 or 5,000. But pretty much we're the civilians that are going to take a stand. We're not going to abide by any curfew. We're going to open our businesses. We're going to go against everything Governor Newsom says, because we don't live in a third world country, and we're not going to settle that. And we did, more than half the country voted for Trump. So I don't know why all these civilians aren't just taking this and standing up and not abiding by these mask mandates. I mean, clearly, if we sit back and let them do this to us now, then what's going to happen next?
I know the next time they need the population to submit, they're going to come up with another one of these so-called pandemics. Gina, have you ever thought about changing the name of your salon? I got a name for you that you could remain open and not have to worry about any kind of interference. You want to hear it? The French Laundry Salon. How about that?
Right? That would be perfect.
Everybody, you should be the French Laundry House of Pizza, the French Laundry liquor store, the French Laundry laundromat. Everything should be renamed the French Laundry in California. Then Gavin Newsom couldn't go after it, right?
Exactly. But my question is, I don't understand why we're waiting, what we're waiting for. If we have the evidence, I get it. We have to go in front of a judicial system. But if the American people clearly can see the cheating, and they clearly can see it tonight, I don't understand why we're not taking a stand.
I know. Gina, I'm glad you raised this point. I'm going to ask Sidney Powell that question. I'm going to say, we could use a victory. We see these cases being thrown out of court. The Michigan Secretary of State won't allow the people who were intimidated in Wayne County to rescind their certification. They're throwing cases out of court. We'd like a few victories, just to tide us over for the weekend going into the Thanksgiving week. I agree. I'd like to see some hard evidence here. Thanks for the call, Gina. She was calling from the French Laundry Hair Salon in Beverly Hills. Paul, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Paul.
Thank you, Howie. I love you. I've been listening to your show since you've been on.
Thank you.
I want to tell you two quick stories. By the way, I've nicknamed CNN the Communist News Network.
I don't think you were the first one to do that. They also call it the Clinton News Network. I think Rush Limbaugh came up with that name. But anyway.
Well, yesterday I took my first COVID or China virus test, whatever it is. Took 4 hours. People are panicking. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're panicking because they're trying to go to these states, I think, where you have to produce evidence that you've had a test. I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? They're not so much panicked by the fact that they're going to die, because they know they're not going to die from it, most of them.
It's hyped, and it's paranoia they're pushing out there on the Main Street media. Second story, 2 days ago, I'm at a little strip mall in Holyoke, and this guy that has a big pickup truck and a little dump trailer, he has these two big Trump 220 flags. So I go up to him, I go, I stick out my thumb. And I had a Trump MAGA hat on. So I get out of the car, and the guy is his own business. He's not a Lithuanian, but he's a
Latvian, Estonian, Russian.
No, he's right next to Russia. What's the name of that country?
There's a lot of countries next to Russia.
East of Russia.
East of Siberia, Kazakhstan.
West of Russia.
Oh, Estonia, Latvia, Poland.
No.
Okay, whatever. Wherever he's from.
Get on with the story here.
Get on with the let's go on.
Well, anyway, so the guy, I say, yeah. So he's working for himself, and he's standing. And then this woman comes up to me, and she said. She starts speaking to me. I said, can you speak Russian? I can speak some Russian. Okay. And then she goes back to her car, and she gives me and this other guy from not Lithuania, but from Ukraine.
Get to the point.
What's the Paul? I was a young man when this story started. Get to the punchline.
I'll make it quick and fast. She goes back to her car, gives this Ukrainian immigrant, hardworking concrete guy, a T-shirt, and she gives me a T-shirt, and it says Trump 220, no BS on it.
Thanks for the call, Paul. 844-500-4242. Paul, the UPS guy, says, I need the new franchise, Honest Howie's French Laundry franchise. That would be good. For $10,000, you can become a franchisee or franchisor. I don't know what it is of the Honest Howie's French Laundry. 844-500-4242. Barbara, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Howie. My nephew called me to wish me happy birthday, and we were talking, and we have a similar way of thinking. We were talking about certain things that have happened in the past, and certain things the government has done. I'm being cryptic here, but we talked about certain buildings falling down and all kinds of stuff. So during the conversation, the whole thing was shut down. And I thought, oh, well, my nephew hung up on me, right? Then he got a message on his iPhone that said the information in this call is not reliable.
What? This was a phone? This was a phone call, not something on Facebook or Twitter or something?
No, correct. A phone call. A phone call. They shut the phone call down. They were listening to our conversation and telling us we couldn't keep going with that conversation. This was 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. Barbara. I don't know what's going on. All I know is earlier this week I had L. Lynn Wood on, the lawyer from Georgia, and we were talking about the court challenges, and suddenly my phone connection to him was gone. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. 844-500-4242. Art, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Art.
Howie, hey, I was watching a video of the Nancy Pelosi press conference about how well the Democrats did
Yes.
in the House races.
Yes.
Right. So I was looking at the data. I'm a numbers guy, and Trump outperformed the Republicans by 1.6 million votes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you take those 1.6 million, add them to his votes, it almost equals the same number of votes that the House Democrats got. So, okay, so everything balances, right? Yeah. But on top of that, Biden outperformed the Democrat people in the House by 4 million votes.
That's because he was such
How does that work?
It's because, Art, he was so dynamic, and he was out there campaigning 24 hours a day, and he was drawing such giant crowds, and his speeches were such spellbinders that it's pretty obvious why he got more votes than anyone else in American history, because he's the greatest campaigner ever, going back to the days of George Washington and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, all the way through. Joe Biden ran the best campaign ever, and he's such a dynamo at the age of 78. He's just coming in to his prime at the age of 78. Thanks for the call, Art. Before I go on my daily bike ride, I look at the temps here in Florida and in Boston. I hate to say it, but 75 feels a lot better than 25, and that's how cold it was this past weekend. I know it's gone up a little bit since then. Early in the morning, my listeners love the Gen 40 heater. Tommy T says we can keep our home thermostat at 65 degrees all the time now with the Gen 40 heater, which means they're saving money. My friends at Eden Pure have a new portable infrared heater that lets you turn down your thermostat but keeps your family warm and comfortable. It's the Gen 40 heater, as Taylor knows well. Right, Taylor?
Yep. It's a nice day today, Howie. We've got about 63 degrees, but I know that I'm going to need my Gen 40 heater. Well, your Gen 40 heater that I've borrowed in the garage this weekend to do some work. So I'm going to set it out there early tomorrow morning, let it sit for a while, and it's going to heat the whole place so I can work freely and comfortably.
Yep. The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace does, and it also costs you less to run, saving you money every month. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie Carr to get $50 off the sale price. That's EdenPure.com and use code word Howie Carr for an extra $50 off. These heaters are in high demand, so go right now to EdenPure.com. I'm Howie Carr.
A nightmare to liberals everywhere. He's Howie Carr.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
And he says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes, we're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second, control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way, he shouldn't talk about the first lady that way. We aren't all here to make salads for men. It's disgusting.
I mean, I'm presuming he was talking about Karen Pence when he said second lady.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Not Montana. I'm talking about no, never mind.
Yeah, no,
Ignore me.
that's Republicans could add to
I was getting Montana and North Dakota confused because, I don't know, I just was.
Every time you turn around, expect to see me. There's one time you'll turn around and I'll be there.
The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. I was mentioning that the Secretary of State in Michigan told the two Republicans in Wayne County that they couldn't change their decision on certifying the election. But so, 508, a texter just pointed out, that's good because their original decision was not to certify the election. So I guess they couldn't change to certifying the election before they changed back to not certifying the election. So we'll just have to go with the initial decision. And so those votes will not be counted, I guess. This is obviously going to be in litigation next week in the Great Lakes state of Michigan. Alan, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Alan.
Hey, Howie, thanks for taking my call. I just called you because it just breaks my heart when I hear these people call up and say, Trump just needs to get over it and we need to focus on Georgia. I say rubbish. I say I don't think so. I think when we're sitting around the table this Thanksgiving, you guys, listen, we need to give thanks to Donald Trump. We need to give thanks to Rudy Giuliani. We need to give thanks to all these lawyers that are behind him because That is the last stop of democracy, you guys. Donald Trump is the last pothole in the road that's stopping from these radical tyrants from taking over this country. And if I hear anybody trying to call up and bring people down and saying, oh, we got to focus on Georgia, no. We need to focus on the presidential race because Georgia doesn't matter. These people, if they get away with stealing this election, well, none of us are going to have any trust. None of us are going to have any hope. None of us
Alan, I agree. I agree with most of what you're saying, but you still have to have a backup plan, and the backup plan is you can't let them steal these races in Georgia. If they win those 2 Senate seats, then they'll have the Senate. They'll be able to really finish off democracy. They'll be able to abolish the Electoral College, new states, felons voting, 16-year-olds voting, flood the country with illegal aliens on welfare and committing crimes. I mean, that's the end game. We got to stop them from getting Georgia too. I agree, though. And the thing is, we all have something to be thankful about is that Donald Trump was president for 4 years, has been president for 4 years, and we've just got to pray that he can get another 4 years. Because Alan's right, he is he's more than a pothole. He's more like a roadblock to their plans to destroy the country and turn it into a third world hellhole. Thanks for the call, Alan. Rob, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Howie, I got a point that I hope you might raise with Sidney Powell. You know how every time you get a major software update for either your computer or your phone, you got to reboot your phone for that update to take effect?
Right.
I'd be curious to know whether these voting machines in Detroit and Milwaukee and Philadelphia, when they all stopped, if they had to reboot those computers. I wonder if there's some way of finding out if those things got rebooted.
I'll try to ask her that, Rob. She sort of put off those kinds of questions by saying she's not a numbers person and that they've got computer people that are going to step forward. And I'll try to ask her just about in general. I just like to have some smoke and guns put out there. I don't mean for her to give away the whole case that they're going to present, but I just like to see a couple of direct. And she said she sent Tucker Carlson an affidavit from some of these people, but I'm hopeful that these affidavits are going to be allowed to be admitted into as evidence in these cases, because I've sometimes seen people come in with really well done affidavits, and they say that they're not material, or they're anecdotes, or they're hearsay, or some legal term. Thanks for the call, Rob. Bob, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Bob, quickly.
Hey, Howie, you remember the Calgon commercials, Ancient Chinese Secret?
No.
Calgon, take me away?
No.
So there was the Chinese dry cleaner, and the woman says, how do you keep her clothes so clean? And he says, it's an ancient Chinese secret. And then his wife comes out from behind with the Calgon box, and that's the box full of Joe Biden's Chinese secrets.
I get it now, Bob. All right, 844-500-4242. Stay tuned. We're going to have Sidney Powell on when we come back. I'm Howie Carr.
Something amazing happens when you reach a ripe old age like we here at Matthews Brothers have. People make up multisyllabic, hard-to-pronounce words to describe you. Words like sesquicentenarian. More amazing yet, some people even try to sing it.
Matthews Brothers is a sesquicentenarian.
That means we're really old,
but we're still flexing. We've got a website. It's wicked awesome. We're on the Facebook.
Just like your Grammy.
Won't you please friend us? We also tweet.
Look for our stuff at
Better Lumberyard or at Window Pros. And remember, Matthews has just one T.
Even after 166 years of making wicked awesome windows and doors, we're still setting records. And for that, we say thank you.
Matthews Brothers, Matthews Brothers, Matthews with one T. America's oldest window manufacturer.
President Trump is clearly, ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings. Congresswoman Harris, Congressman Senator, did I say Senator Harris? He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what he comes in with doggy doo on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
This is going to sound immodest, but I'm obviously a top tier candidate. I've had a lot of titles over my career, and certainly vice president will be great, but Mamala will always be the one that means the most. They said, well, do you think Trump is responsible for what happened? And I said, well, look, I mean, obviously he didn't pull the trigger, but he's certainly been tweeting out the ammunition. And that's why do gotta go. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories. You know, I'm just gonna engage in real talk. I don't want to waste your time with anything else.
What is your favorite musical genre?
Oh, I mean, I'm hip hop and reggae and jazz. Those are some of my favorites.
Okay.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay.
And I inhale. I did inhale.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
When I raise money, excuse me. I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? You think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
Whether it's global warming, global cooling, or climate change, one thing's for certain, the progressive moonbats can't stop talking about it.
We're talking about cities all over the world, major cities going underwater.
You know, I've spent a lot of time now with these young students, and they're scared. And a lot of young people are even suffering from, they're calling it extinction illness.
So that we can have people here who truly are committed to climate change, believe in climate change as though it's a religion, it's not a science.
A woman whose dreams of motherhood now taste bittersweet because of what I know about our children's future.
You have stolen my dreams, my childhood, with your empty words.
That curing cancer is going to be much more difficult when there's so much climate change and pollutants in the environment, because a lot of cancer is environmentally caused.
Recognizing and acknowledging the link between animal agriculture and climate change is a very bold move, making tonight plant-based.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show. You can call him Fat Boy, just don't call him late for dinner. He's Howie Carr.
We will bring over your entire family from the third world Muslim hellhole that they live in so that they can have an all-expenses-paid, taxpayer-funded with open bar weekend at a nice hotel in Boston, get a nice sightseeing tour, maybe take them to Fenway Park for a game so they can see their savage Muslim terrorist kinsman sentenced to death. But the President of the United States of America can't be allowed to speak before Parliament because he's such a terrible barbarian, as opposed to the dictator of Red China. And I'm going to call it Red China. Since the Dems are down on Russia, we might as well go after all the communist dictatorships that are left, right? Russia isn't even a communist dictatorship; it's just authoritarian now. But let's call it Red China. Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
We took Sidney Powell seriously. We had no intention of fighting with her. We've always respected her work. But she never sent us any evidence, despite a lot of requests, polite requests, not a page. When we kept pressing, she got angry and told us to stop contacting her.
No, I didn't get angry with the request to provide evidence. In fact, I sent an affidavit to Tucker, but he was very insulting, demanding, and rude, and I told him not to contact me again in those terms.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
EUA, the emergency use authorization, we will be able to distribute this all across the country.
When are you going to admit you lost?
We don't have Sydney yet. We're working on getting it.
When will you admit you lost the election?
Kaylee, at what point does the president concede the race and allow for a proper transition to the Biden?
Thank you, everyone, for the very good and substantive questions today.
You understand that you lost?
I don't call an activist.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
I think I had an idea with the world so divided and everybody, telling him he's got to give up and time to leave and time to transition and all the rest of it. Why not name the vaccine the Trump? It'd be a nice gesture to him. Have you got your Trump yet? Oh, yeah, I got my Trump. I'm fine.
I am totally and completely insane. How do I stay so crazy? Crazy pills.
Unchained and unstoppable.
It's your family. It's your home. It's your table. These are all environments where you feel safe. Your safe zone is not a safe zone. Your safe zone is dangerous this year.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want.
If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. The toll-free number, if you would like to call us at any point during the day, is 844-500-4242. That's 844-500-4242. And we will take some calls this hour. And we're standing by. We're hoping to get Sidney Powell, the president's lawyer, on the line in a matter of moments. As you know, she's been working on all these challenges, specifically involving the Dominion voting machines. And as you may or may not know, Dominion voting machines was supposed to produce witnesses for a legislative hearing in Harrisburg, PA today. They were supposed to outline what happened in Pennsylvania and defend themselves, I guess, against these allegations of shall we say, irregularities, to use their word. And they blew off the Pennsylvania legislature at the last moment, last evening, and everybody is speculating. Well, if they have nothing to hide, if they're proud of what they did, why wouldn't they want to show up and appear at what would become a regionally, if not nationally, televised legislative hearing to come up with to come up with the defense of what happened. And for someone like Dana Perino on Fox to say, well, I think Dominion is going to sue Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell for what they said about them. I don't really see that in the cards. If they were proud of their effort and thought that they hadn't done anything wrong, I think they would have been in Harrisburg today. 844-500-4242. And as we wait to try to get Sidney Powell on the line, I'm going to read from a letter that I mentioned earlier. This was two Dominion voting machines written last year by, among others, Senator Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian from Massachusetts, Amy Klobuchar, who also ran for president, the senator from Minnesota, Ron Wyden, a lefty from Oregon, and they were complaining about what happened with the Dominion voting systems in earlier elections, switching votes. These are their words. The Democrat Congress people, senators and representatives, switching votes, undisclosed vulnerabilities, and improbable results that threaten the integrity of our elections. These problems threaten the integrity of our elections and demonstrate the importance of election systems that are strong, durable, and not vulnerable to attack. Vulnerable to attack. Isn't that exactly what Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell said was going on yesterday at their press conference at the Republican National Committee? In 2018 alone, voters in South Carolina were reporting machines that switched their votes after they'd inputted them. Scanners were rejecting paper ballots in Missouri. Busted machines were causing long lines in Indiana. And just and in addition, researchers recently uncovered previously undisclosed vulnerabilities in nearly 36 back-end election systems in 10 states. Just this year, these are the three Democrat senators and I think a Democrat congressman writing this letter in December of last year, less than a year ago. And just this year, after the Democrat candidate's electronic tally showed he received 164 votes out of 55,000 cast in a Pennsylvania state judicial election in 2019. The county's Republican chairwoman said, quote, "Nothing went right on election day. Everything went wrong." That's a problem. That's a pretty big problem. And so this is what Dominion is all about, and they got problems, and they're hiding. And apparently, there's more than 200 employees of Dominion across the country, and they all had LinkedIn profiles. And since the election, more than half of the 240 plus profiles on LinkedIn have been discarded by the have been delinked or unlinked or whatever. They've been removed. Delisted. I don't know what the word is. 844-500-4242. We're still looking for Sidney Powell. We'll take a call or two here while we try to find out where she is. David, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, David.
Hey, how you doing, Howie?
I don't have any sound.
Hello.
We're just having some technical difficulties here, obviously. 844. We'll try to get the sound back. 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show if you'd like to join us. Curfews, stay-at-home orders, and mask mandates. Even more governors tighten virus rules as testing lines grow. Want to see if we can get somebody on? Let's put Rich up there and see if we can get him. Is Rich there? David. Oh, here's David.
Hello. How
Okay.
you doing?
There you go. I got you now, David. Go ahead.
Hey, listen, I'm from Puerto Rico, and I know how it is in Puerto Rico. We tried to get some Republicans there, and they've been stealing the votes, and I guess it's the same machine.
So it's just like being on the mainland, David.
Yeah, I came here in 1981. I'm a Costa Rican.
All right, David. Good luck. Good luck getting your irregularities straightened out down on the island, just like we're trying to get our irregularities straightened out here on the mainland. Thanks for the call, Rich. You're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Rich.
Hey, Howie, how are you doing? I just want to make a comment about the election, and correct me if I'm wrong, Trump had 10 plus million more votes in this election than when he won in 2016, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So, I mean, it's preposterous that Joe Biden would have more popularity, more of a backing than Obama did. Obama had a solid platform, whether you're progressive or not, and you didn't agree with that. It didn't matter.
Well, Rich, he underperformed. He underperformed even Hillary Clinton, except in those 4 areas where he needed to win. In the swing states in Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Milwaukee. Other than that, he did worse than Hillary Clinton did. But he ran up these giant numbers of votes that were suddenly counted after midnight, after the supposed voting had ended. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it's incredible. But the fact is, it's like, listen, it's like Giuliani and Sidney Powell and Jen L said, they have the evidence. And of course, the media is the media. They are what they are. But the fact remains is anybody that has any kind of common sense will understand that there's so many things that it just is fishy and don't smell right, but this is what they can do. Are they going to
unfortunately, Rich, we're not dealing here with people who need common sense. We're dealing here with judges, and at least on the state level, most of them are craven hacks, and they don't want to do anything. And many of them are Democrat politicians, basically, like the 5 out of the 7 on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And then when you get into onto the federal level, there are hundreds of judges that were appointed by Clinton and Obama, and particularly the ones that were appointed by Obama are nothing but leftist ideologues, and they don't care about the common sense arguments or the legal niceties. They're just about the fundamental transformation of America. Like, is it possible that you could get any of those 3 liberals on the Supreme Court to ever switch their votes? Breyer, Kagan, or Sotomayor, and then throw in John Roberts for good measure? They're not ever going to change their votes. They're always going to do what the party tells them to do. Thanks for the call there, Rich. Let HelloFresh spice up mealtime at your home. Right now, you could take advantage of limited Black Friday savings and see why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. The one I made last weekend was the firecracker meatballs. They're it's got a little bit of bit of soy sauce in it and a little to give it some added spice. It was a great product, and it only took about a half hour to make the firecracker meatballs. And they got all kinds of different dishes. HelloFresh gives you simple recipes and fresh ingredients sourced directly from growers and delivered to your door, contact-free. With more than 22 weekly recipes, there's something for everyone to enjoy, including family-friendly, vegetarian, and low-calorie choices. Say goodbye to never-ending meal planning and prepping. HelloFresh recipes are easy to follow with simple steps and pictures. You can get meals on the table in as little as 20 minutes. Plus, by skipping the store, you can save up to 40% on groceries. You can cut food waste by 25%. There's nothing worse than having to throw away some food out of the refrigerator that you bought because you got too much of it. You never have to worry about that with HelloFresh. They give you exactly what you need. Nothing goes to waste. Save time so you have more time to celebrate the holidays with loved ones. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie90 for $90 off, including free shipping during HelloFresh's Black Friday sale. For a limited time only, go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie90 for $90 off. HelloFresh.com. I'm Howie Carr.
He's suave, he's
in your room. Over the weekend, I saw my daughter Carolyn, and she asked if she could have one for her basement in her new home. She asked if it really works, and I said, of course it does. You won't believe it. If you bought one for your home and enjoy the big difference in smell, take advantage of the BOGO offer now and buy one for a family member like I'm going to do for Carolyn. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieBOGO. That's EdenPure.com. And with code word HowieBOGO, shipping is free.
And now, another minute of Madam Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
But again, you have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
There's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories.
She's on
but the Times
MAL
have found
right now.
us.
She's on MAL.
Odd.
Or was at 355.
Interesting. All right, we're coming back. Jared's going to be doing the poll question with you.
Always will be. You haven't got the guts to be anything else.
The Howie Carr Show.
Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Gen 40 heater. I got it right here in front of me. Look at how stylish and nice it is. Plus, it keeps you very warm. Save money on your heating bills with this stylish heater that can fit on your side table or desk, just like it does on mine. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie Carr. That's one word, Howie Carr, to save $50. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
What will you be doing for your Thanksgiving dinner? Cooking, ordering takeout, or going out to eat?
I will be going out to eat, as I do every Thanksgiving.
Just 7% of the audience says they are going out to eat. 10% they will be ordering takeout, and 83% say they will be cooking.
Well, I hope they're in red states, that 83%, because the blue state governors want to make sure that nobody has any fun or any companionship or any hugs this Thanksgiving. 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Again, we were hoping to get Sidney Powell on, but we haven't been able to find her. Her phone is off, so we're going to take some calls here. Nancy, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Nancy.
Hi, Howie. I'm Nancy.
Hi.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Okay, so I live in New Jersey. My neighbor works for an engineering firm in New York City. She's the controller.
Yes.
And she got an unemployment claim for a person who is still working and lives in AOC's district in the Bronx.
Yes.
He has the person's name and social security number. Someone stole his identity and filed for an unemployment claim into Georgia. And the person actually got a check paid into Georgia.
How long ago was this, Nancy?
Within a week. Established residency in Georgia. A stolen identity. Yeah. She escalated it at the unemployment office. It's under investigation, but I think someone through your office, if I don't want to say my phone number, her name and number on the air, but it could.
No, I know it's a big problem, and apparently it's against the law. I don't know if it's a state law in Georgia or a federal law to move to a state just to vote, and it's also against the law apparently to encourage someone to do that, which. There have been people that work for the New York Times have been on national TV. It's saying that people should move to Georgia to vote. And I mean, obviously, the Democrats, fewer of them work. I mean, the exit polls show that. Trump got a majority of the people who work for a living, and Biden got a majority of the people, according to the exit polls, who don't work for a living. So they've got plenty of time on their hands to go down and try to flip the Senate and just hope for more redistribution of wealth, shall we say, in a Democrat-controlled, fundamentally transformed United States of America. Thanks for the call, Nancy. I'm not surprised, but it's something that. The Republicans in Georgia and the Republicans everywhere have got to watch out for. They want to steal these 2 Senate seats, despite the fact that they have terrible candidates, especially that Raphael Warnock, who doesn't seem to like white people or Jews or the military or the police, among other groups. Scott, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Scott.
Yes, sir. I love your show.
Thank you.
I am a solid Trump supporter. I am also really good friends with a man named Bruce Brenny. I went to school with him, high school.
Who is he?
Bruce Brenny. He used to pitch for the Reds, Major League Baseball.
Oh, Bruce Brenny, the Mets, the guy from the Mets. That I just know him as Bruce from the Mets, number 31. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize to Bruce.
No problem. He thinks the world of you, and so do I. And I met with him. He was in Ohio. That's where I live, and visited this last August. And and your name is brought up because I said I'm really watching a lot of shows. And
well, that's good. I'm
and
glad.
he told
Bruce,
how he knows you.
Bruce, number 31. He's a good guy. He gets me. He gets me some nice shirts from the Major League Baseball Alumni Association. Tell him I said hello, and I'm sure I'll be hearing from him since I didn't remember his last name. Like I said, I just think of him as Bruce from the Mets, number 31. Thanks for the call, Scott. Robert, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Robert.
Hi, Howie. I love your show. All right, my friend, let me explain to you. 3 times this guy, he ran for president and he fell. And in order for them to get rid of him, they offered him the vice president. They thought he's going to go away. Then they figured it out. He'd be the best so they could pull anything they want out of him. I'm from Iran. About 45 years ago, they did the same thing. This globalist to the Shah of Iran.
Right.
They did exactly. He was doing a great job.
It's turned out to be a disaster for the people of Iran, right? I mean, it's destroyed 2 generations of Iranians, given them nothing but abject poverty and a totalitarian police state. It's horrible. Yeah, I know. How'd that one work out, overthrowing the Shah of Iran? That was a good move on Jimmy Carter's part. Thanks for the call, Robert. We'll be right back. I'm Howie Carr.
Hey, Howie, I see you got a haircut.
Hey, Howie, she just texted me. She was
waking up every day not worrying about bald spots or a dreaded comb over. I now have a thick head of hair, and the best part of it is it's my hair. Getting a DiStefano hair restoration was the best decision I ever made.
Well, besides hiring me, right, Howie?
Like I said, Grace, it was the best decision I ever made.
You heard him, guys. Go to hairman.com to get the hair you've always wanted. Get hair like Howie's. Go to DiStefano Hair Restoration. They have 5 locations in New England, and they are open for business. That's hairman.com.
And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
Well,
morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all 3 chambers of Congress, all 3 chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300. And now, some of my favorite fake Indian cuts of all time.
We've got her, Howie.
Great.
My favorite curse word?
Poop.
Poop? Oh, That's a goody two shoes
No, it's
favorite
not.
curse word
No,
if I
it's-
ever heard one.
Are you kidding? Have you ever seen a woman like me look you straight in the face after you finished some long explanation of something and then just said, poof?
Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
I am not sure what she's talking about as far as a rally with.
It was a rally in Bern, Oregon, is that you have to figure out who you are. I grew up in a family that was barely hanging on to the ragged edge of the middle class. And my Aunt Bee has walked by that picture at least 1,000 times, remarked that her father, my papa, had high cheekbones like all of the Indians do.
Here are some rapid fire questions with Taylor Cormier. What would you eat for your last meal on Earth?
I'm fond of old favorites, childhood favorites. I'd go with my mother's beef and bean pie, followed by, for dessert, my grandmother's recipe for oatmeal cookies and a big glass of milk.
Where is your favorite place to vacation?
Home. I like being home. I like my house. I know where everything is. Yeah, I just like being home.
Favorite Frank Sinatra song to listen to?
It's called Without a Song, and it's on the album I Remember Tommy. It's a tribute to Tommy Dorsey, and it's a very swinging remake of the original. Oh, Howie, I don't know if you saw it, but Sydney says that song, but it's somebody coming to the realization that this is the way life is, and they've come to terms with it. And I think it's something that everybody can connect to. It's a great equalizer for everybody in the room.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Joining us now on the line is Sidney Powell, the attorney for the President of the United States. She's involved in the lawsuits that are going to be filed, an attempt to challenge the election returns in multiple states. Sidney Powell, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Oh, thank you very much.
Listen, things seem to have, been going against the president the last couple of days. Recounts are thwarted, court decisions go against the president. The canvassers in Wayne County are told they can't change their non-certification votes, et cetera, et cetera. Can you give us some good news? When are we going to have some positive developments in the president's case here?
Well, a lot of the evidence of fraud is going to be coming out next week. I've got just more than I can say grace over right now coming in every day. It only gets worse and worse. This was very widespread, very deliberate, very well funded, and everybody and their pet rock is trying to stop me from exposing it.
I want to ask you about this server that the story broke last week that the military had somehow confiscated a server for one of these vote counting companies in Europe. Can you give us an update on that?
Not really. Nobody shared that information with me. I can only give you grapevine gossip. I don't know whether that's particularly accurate or not. I'm still trying to figure out if the good guys got it or the bad guys got it.
So we don't.
Grapevine gossip is the good guys got it. That the government that's going to clean things up got it, but I can't verify that.
Shouldn't you know about that if it had happened though? I mean, you would need some of that information. I mean, there would be your smoking gun, right? If they have.
Oh, yeah, there would be beyond a smoking gun, but you have to realize how many forces, including many in the government, have benefited from this system. They knew it worked the way it worked, and they used it to install the people they wanted to stall in particular offices. I think the fraud in the election goes much farther than just the president. I think they did it to John James. I think they did it to Leon Benjamin. I think they did it to any particularly strong Republican candidate this time around. We've got data from 2016 out of California that shows that Hillary Clinton did it to Bernie Sanders there. And then when people told him about it, instead of exposing it, he sold out.
He has a new lakefront home on Lake Champlain, Sidney.
Right.
and a nice
Exactly.
and a nice book contract. You know, a lot of this I watched the press conference yesterday, and I thought to myself, I liked the presentation and all that, but I thought of all my time covering trials in court, and I could just see the opposing counsel saying to the judge, well, this is just an anecdote, or this may be an affidavit, but it's not material to this case, or it's hearsay. I mean, are you going to have the actual smoking guns to present to the courts?
We've got a number of smoking guns, and we may have to get witness protection for them.
So you're gonna be able to show votes changing. I mean, we've seen the computers, the freeze frames on the TV screens of the votes changing, or on the computer screens. Are you going to have the actual the actual solid evidence that those votes were being changed by these companies?
We have a lot of extremely solid evidence. It's beyond impressive and absolutely terrifying.
And where are you gonna file the first cases?
Oh, I haven't decided yet. We're working on several of them that we will probably file almost simultaneously, as close together as we can, and hopefully before the end of next week.
Well, there's only 3 days next week, right? Because it's Thanksgiving, so you'd have to move pretty quickly. Are you going to be state court first, right? Or do you go directly to federal court?
No, these are going to be federal court lawsuits. These are issues of federal question, jurisdiction, and they're paramount to the very life, any future life of our republic.
And what is you've said that you think that millions of votes were removed from the president's vote totals. How many million votes do you think were removed for the president of the United States that he got on November 3rd?
Well, my pure estimate at this time is roughly 7 million, but it might be more. We're also getting some data that reflects that millions, not just a few hundred or thousands, but some millions of dead people voted, which would have been, well, any of that actually each instance of that is a federal crime, federal felony. But I think we're going to find a significant conspiracy to do that. We've also got evidence of people being paid, and we've got pictures of the check stubs paid to people to ballot harvest and do fraudulent voting. So this year was every means and manner of fraud you can possibly imagine, and many that you could never imagine.
So how many fraudulent votes do you think that Joe Biden had on his side of the slate?
Probably at least 10 million.
10 million fraudulent votes?
Probably.
And how many?
Maybe more.
And President Trump lost 7 million votes. And how many dead people? How many votes of dead people were cast, do you think?
We're still tracking down that data to see if what we've been provided is real, but if it is correct, it's several million.
So did most of these votes disappear for the president and appear for Joe Biden in the in those states that are still being fought over, or did this go on? How many states did this go on in?
I think there were several ways that they did this. One was an algorithm that I believe they ran nationwide, but I can't say that for sure yet because we haven't had the time to run the data nationwide. But that would typically be the way it would be done, and certainly make it less apparent that it had been done in any one place if they ran the algorithm consistently across the country. So, for example, they could literally dial it to every time there was a vote for Trump, or that it be weighted at 0.75, and every vote for Biden be weighted at 1.25. And do that all the way across the country, and it would be very difficult to know on the, as the votes come out, that anything like that had been done. I forgot what they call it, but there's a provision for it in the software that everybody bought and used, and the software goes beyond just Dominion systems. Others used similar software with the same DNA code in it as well. So I don't think any state was safe from it, despite the best efforts of some not to use the Dominion voting systems, which were clearly fraudulently created and sold. The algorithm runs, and
are you saying that that this was done by Dominion and a couple of other companies, vote counting companies, or was the Democrat Party directly involved in this? The National Democrats, the Biden campaign.
Well, given all the internet information that we've seen of people that have been caught talking about this, the Democratic operation had to have been involved. We even have Joe Biden with his dementia removed filter saying that he
had the best voter fraud operation in history. Yeah, we remember that. Yeah,
exactly. And that is true. One of the things dementia does is remove your filter, and you say things that you wouldn't say if it were operational. So I think that's one of his most true statements in the last year, and we can certainly start proving that any minute now. And then the other thing they did, where they had the real problem, was Trump won so overwhelmingly in all the states that had to cut off their machines, that they had to cut off their machines for hours to go in and backfill additional votes and move things around even more to make sure that Biden won. And they used the mail-in ballot stuff as the means of, helping to cover for that. But really, it was all mechanical. We've found places where the same ballot was entered multiple times, places where there were absolutely pristine ballots with only a computer-made dot for Biden, and all of them were alike. They could just stick those in the machine in batches and run them through repeatedly and count, hundreds of thousands of votes that way. There's a drag and drop feature to take Trump votes and put them in a trash can, or assign them to a third-party candidate, or move them from a third-party candidate to Biden. I think they did absolutely everything. And we also have information that one of the high people in Dominion voting systems went to Detroit to operate the system himself there that night at the Detroit Center.
If this were a normal civil complaint moving into federal court, it would take years to litigate this, Sidney Powell. How are you going to get everything done by, I think, December 14th when the Electoral College meets?
Well, at the rate information is pouring in, and with the dedicated little team that we have, I think we're going to get it done. Certainly enough to blow it absolutely all up, and it should thoroughly embarrass the Department of Justice and the National Security Administration and the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI that they have ignored all this for all this time. Either that, or they were complicit in operating it and running it and using it for their own operations. The CIA, I'm sure, had a hand in it.
Why is Gina Haspel still there then? If she was in,
I've been asking that question. I've been asking that question for months. She should never have been put in that job. She should be fired immediately, and so should Christopher Wray and a lot of other people over there. We even got information that there's a person in the Department of Defense who's been on the internet with Bernie Sanders and AOC instructing people how to commit sabotage in their respective offices within the government, and there were a couple of hundred people on the call.
This guy,
all of them haven't been arrested. I don't know.
Let me ask you about this guy, Eric Coomer. I think he works for Dominion. He's Berkeley, California, University of California grad. He's the one who was allegedly he was on a conference call or something, a Zoom with Antifa, and he said supposedly, "Don't worry about Trump. I've already made sure he's going to lose the election." Is that true for starters? And
yes,
it's true. You have that.
It's true. Yeah, we have an affidavit to that effect, and we have I think we have a copy of the call.
Where is Eric Coomer now?
And yes, he's disappeared. And also, Dominion has shuttered up both of their offices in Canada, where they shared an office floor with George Soros entity, and they have moved their office in Denver. And of course, I'm sure there was a lot of document shredding and things, quote, lost, end quote, in that process. the FBI should have moved on all of this immediately. All of the voting machines should have already been impounded. The software should have been secured and examined. I am so livid with the law enforcement in this country, I can't see straight.
So what happens when you mention Coomer and he or his lawyer just says, well, he was just bragging? You have no proof that he actually fixed the election. He just that's just barroom talk. What are you going to say?
Wrap it up.
What's the comeback to that?
Well, it's called a confession in a courtroom. It's called a confession.
All right, Sydney. So you hope to start filing lawsuits by Thanksgiving then?
Or by the end of next week. Friday it's not a federal holiday, so we shall see how we go. But we'll get it ready as fast as we can, and in the meantime, we will be producing additional evidence to help the public understand the breadth and depth of this international, frankly, criminal conduct. And it also reflects substantial foreign interference in our election.
Sidney Powell.
Real foreign interference in our election.
Including,
this is not the Steele dossier.
Including China, correct?
Yeah. China, Iran, Serbia, Liechtenstein, multiple places.
All right, Sidney Powell, lawyer for Donald J. Trump's campaign. Thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate it. Our listeners love the Thunderstorm air purifier, and the reviews are in. Beatrice emailed me and Nancy sent me a card. The reviews are all the same. The Thunderstorm really works. The winter is coming on, so plan now. Eden Pure will continue their buy one, get one promotion for the Thunderstorm air purification system. It really freshens up the entire office or the entire room that you put one in. It's great. It just is. It's so much easier and so much more effective than these giant air purifiers that you see. Eden Pure is able to give you this good deal due to the amazing success with the Howie Carr Show listeners and viewers. The response has been tremendous. Eden Pure is passing those savings on to you, the viewers and the listeners. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand, like I'm doing, plug into the wall to purify the air from any odor. This could be pet odor, kitchen smells, tobacco, or that damp smell you may have in your basement. I've seen large air purification systems that cost $1,000 and take up a lot of space. When you take advantage of the BOGO offer, the Thunderstorm is below $100 per, and it doesn't take up any room, as you can see. Also, no filters are needed. What more do you want? Take advantage of the BOGO offer now and experience yourself what all the listeners and viewers are raving about. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieBOGO. That's EdenPure.com, HowieBOGO. Shipping is free. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr. You can trust him.
Howie, when we come back, can we do the poll?
American and supporting America. Order today at BigfootMaple.com.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the
Got hate mail?
You bloated idiot! You stupid fat you!
Send it to Grace at HowieCarShow.com.
Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Gen 40 heater. Save money on your heating bills with this stylish heater that can fit on your side table or desk. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie Carr. That's one word, Howie Carr, to save $50. What's the poll question and what are the results?
What will you be doing for your Thanksgiving dinner? Cooking, ordering takeout, or going out to eat?
I'm going out to eat. But that's
11% say going out to eat. Most of them are cooking, maybe like our next guest.
Our next guest is Joe Borelli, and he's a New York City councilman from Staten Island. And he didn't take it too kindly to what Governor Andrew Cuomo said, saying that there would only be 10 people allowed to go to Thanksgiving dinner in the Empire State of New York. So, Joe Borelli, what's your what are your plans for Thanksgiving on Staten Island?
Well, thank you for having me. So my family happens to be 11 people, not 13, not 15, not 20, not 4. My family is 11 people, and the Borelli family will get together this Thanksgiving, as we do every year, and we'll make some food. We'll burn some turkey. We'll overcook some potatoes, but we'll be together as a family, despite anything that Governor Cuomo says.
Are you expecting a visit from Governor Cuomo or some of his law enforcement, Joe?
No, and that's what makes this even more laughable is that right after Governor Cuomo made this rule, sheriffs around New York State, the NYPD commissioner down here where I am in the city, they all came out and said there's really no way we could effectively enforce this, and there's no way we actually would enforce this. Which is a shame, too, because when you get rules like this that are just so absurd, they call into question the validity and the intent of all the other COVID rules that you might be trying to promulgate in actual good faith. When you have something as cynical as this to try to keep families away from each other on Thanksgiving.
Are people on your side or against you, Joe, on this matter, since you announced your plans to have 11 people over to your house on Thanksgiving?
Well, it's funny, a lot of people on the left around the city, which there are, really took offense to it. Chris Hayes on his MSNBC show, he did a whole segment. By the way, he wouldn't let me come on the show. We reached out to try to get on. He wouldn't let me come on to explain myself, but he did a whole segment on it. And then just yesterday, the New York Daily News did a whole story on how leaders of the Brooklyn Democratic Party, were having their own party.
You're even having people in from New Jersey. I can't believe it. Joe Borelli, thanks for checking in with us. New York City Councilor, I'm Howie Carr. If you don't want to replace your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. Genesis 950 was my go-to product for Mr. Gooner. The reviews are amazing, as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains so they are gone for good. Its antibacterial component removes pet owners from carpet and padding. Genesis 950 can be used in a carpet cleaning machine. Genesis 950 is made in America. It is a concentrate, so 1 gallon makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. I brought it to Carolyn's new home, and she couldn't believe the results. Use it in bathrooms, kitchens, floors, and for grease stains. It is great for degreasing engines, wheels, and tires. Consider trying Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. It is green, so it's safe for your family and pets. Genesis 950 has great customer service if you need to contact them. Order a gallon direct at genesis950.com, and you will receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and discount using code Howie. That's genesis950.com. genesis950.com.
Brace yourself, guys. Here is 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. That they wanted their voices to be heard. I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they are not getting paid 163. Was it 163 Republicans voted no? Wisdom from the kitchen of the Willard Hotel, yes, ma'am. The president either doesn't know what he's talking about or doesn't want to know what he's talking about.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president of the United States. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920 and not 2020.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie. The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think one left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton.
There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book.
I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who was your favorite actor?
Humphrey Bogart, no doubt about it. I love all the old Humphrey Bogart movies. Jimmy Cagney would be a close second.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
No celebrity crushes.
Ginger or Marianne?
I always was a Marianne person. Never was bowled over by that Hollywood look. Plus, Ginger was in more revealing attire, scantily clad.
Salty or sweet?
Neither, but if I have to pick, I'll go with sweet.
Movies or TV?
TV.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's, although I'd prefer Five Guys.
Facebook or Twitter?
Definitely Twitter. I hate Facebook.
Cake or pie?
I'm a cake guy.
Coke or Pepsi?
Diet Coke.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, obviously.
Winter or summer?
Summer. Good Lord. Why would you want winter? It's cold and it's dark.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's 1 minute of getting to know Jared Diglio. What would be your last meal on Earth?
Pizza. Cheese pizza. Just regular cheese pizza.
What drink are you going to have with your pizza?
I gotta go Coke. You gotta go Coke with pizza. It's the perfect combination.
Where's your favorite vacation spot?
I'm a staycation kind of guy. I like just staying in my place, but if I had to go to a destination, I love Italy, especially Rome.
If you could live in any state besides Massachusetts, which one would you choose?
Nevada. Wide open land. People leave you alone. Plus, it's not that far from Vegas or LA.
If you weren't in radio, what profession would you be in?
Gigolo.
Favorite comic book character?
Spider-Man. He's been my favorite since I was a kid. He's the most identifiable of the superheroes. He's just kind of a normal guy who's got a lot of problems, but he's got to overcome it and save the day.
Favorite Star Trek character?
I love TNG, but I got to go with James T. Kirk.
Dogs or cats?
Neither.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else.
Hey, what's up?
I can't hear anything.
Oh, can you imagine if I had? What a mess I'd be. I'd be the world's worst. Other countries, big countries, India and others, we had to pay because they considered them a growing country. They were a growing country. So what are we? Are we allowed to grow too? Okay. So are we allowed to grow? I try like hell to hide that.